Do not say a little in many words, but a great deal in a few.
He is one of the strangest figures in history, a man who left no writings of his own, yet his name still echoes in classrooms, temples, and secret societies. Pythagoras of Samos, mathematician, philosopher, mystic, prophet? Or was he simply a symbol invented by his followers? Almost everything we know about him comes from later sources, written centuries after his death. That means we must navigate between history and myth. Was he a genius, scientist, a cult leader, or a man whose legend grew larger than life? To uncover the truth, we must follow Pythagoras across borders, from Egypt to Babylon, from Croton to Plato, and from antiquity to the modern world. Born around 570 BCE on the Greek island of Samos, Pythagoras grew restless with provincial life. Ancient accounts describe him traveling widely in search of wisdom. In Egypt, he is said to have entered the temples and studied geometry, astronomy, and sacred rituals alongside the priests of Memphis and Thebes. For Egyptians, numbers and shapes were not mere abstractions. They were the architecture of the cosmos. In Babylon, he may have encountered Mesopotamian astronomers who tracked planetary cycles with clay tablets. They already knew of Pythagorean triples long before Greece, suggesting that much of what bears his name was global knowledge repackaged. Whether or not these travels occurred exactly as described, the legend portrays him as a cultural bridge, a man who absorbed knowledge from Africa, Mesopotamia, and Greece, weaving it into a new worldview. But when he returned to the Greek world, he didn't just teach. He founded something far stranger, a brotherhood that blurred the line between science, religion, and cult. In Croton, a city in southern Italy, Pythagoras founded his secretive community. To outsiders, it appeared to be a school. To insiders, it was something like a monastery, half laboratory, half temple. Strict rules governed daily life. Vegetarianism, no meat, no fish, and famously, no beans. Why? Some said beans contained souls. Others thought their hollow stems connected to the underworld. Still others believe it was simply a rule to maintain ritual purity. Silence. Newcomers had to remain quiet for years, listening before they could speak. Communal living. Property was shared, and members devoted themselves to study, music, and ritual. This was not just philosophy. It was an initiation. They swore oaths by the tetractys, a triangular arrangement of 10 dots, which represented the harmony of the universe. For them, numbers weren't symbols. They were divine beings. Women were admitted, remarkably rare in antiquity. Theano, sometimes described as Pythagoras' wife, sometimes his student, wrote works on mathematics and ethics that survived in fragments. If you wish to enter the inner circle, to unlock the deeper mysteries and help keep this channel alive, consider becoming a member. The outer teachings are public, but the true temple is hidden. One of the most enchanting Pythagorean ideas began in a blacksmith's forge. As the story goes, Pythagoras noticed that hammers of different weights produced harmonious or dissonant sounds. Curious, he experimented with strings, discovering that harmony depended on ratios. Halve a string, and you get an octave. Ratios like 2.3 and 3.4 create perfect intervals. From this came the theory that the universe itself was music. If strings obeyed ratios, so did planets. The stars, he believed, moved in perfect harmony, creating a symphony inaudible to human ears, the music of the spheres. This vision would inspire Plato, who believed mathematics revealed eternal forms. Much later, Kepler would revive the idea while studying planetary motion, seeing harmony in elliptical orbits. But harmony has its opposite. For the Pythagoreans, not all numbers were harmonious. Some were monstrous, and one nearly destroyed the brotherhood. Every student knows the Pythagorean theorem, A2 plus B2 equals C2. Yet clay tablets from Babylon, centuries older, already recorded the same relationship. So why attach Pythagoras' name to it? because his school elevated the right triangle into a sacred key. To them, geometry revealed the divine skeleton of reality. Numbers weren't just tools, they were the architecture of existence. But what happens when the architecture cracks? When numbers refuse to obey? The Pythagoreans lived by the creed. All is number. But then came the discovery of the irrational numbers that could not be expressed as a ratio of integers. The square root of 2, born from the diagonal of a square, defied their faith. It meant that not everything could be reduced to harmony. Some say Hippasus, the man who revealed it, was drowned at sea as punishment. Whether true or not, the story illustrates how dangerous knowledge can be when it challenges the sacred order. This was more than mathematics. It was a crack in the belief that the universe was perfectly ordered. The end of Pythagoras' life is as shrouded in mystery as its beginning. Some accounts claim political enemies stormed his school and burned it down. Others say he escaped, only to die in exile. But his disciples carried the torch. Plato would integrate Pythagorean ideas into his philosophy. Euclid would turn geometry into a systematic discipline. Neo-Platonists and Gnostics drew on his mystical vision. Centuries later, Islamic scholars preserved and expanded Pythagorean mathematics, transmitting it into the Renaissance. The concept of cosmic harmony permeated Christian mysticism, Islamic Sufism, and even Jewish Kabbalah. In all of them, numbers were not mere quantities, but qualities of divine truth. And in the modern world, every time a student uses the theorem, every time a physicist looks for symmetry in the laws of nature, they echo Pythagoras. And hidden beneath the legend lie curious details. Pythagoras claimed to remember past lives, once as a Trojan warrior named Euphorbus. He believed the soul could be purified by music, and that certain modes of music could heal the body and mind. His followers treated numbers as sacred beings. To them, 10 was perfection, and the Tetractes was holy. But the greatest curiosity remains. Was Pythagoras truly the originator of these ideas, or a mythical figurehead for a much broader movement? Think about this. Indian traditions also linked mathematics with cosmic order, as in Vedic chants that relied on numerical patterns. Chinese thinkers like the Taoists explored harmony through yin-yang duality and the I Ching's hexagrams. The Islamic Golden Age fused Greek mathematics with their own discoveries, producing algebra and advances in astronomy. Across cultures, the same intuition appears. The world is built on pattern, ratio, order. Pythagoras was one voice in a global chorus. His uniqueness was not the discovery of numbers, but the audacity to declare them sacred. Pythagoras exists somewhere between man and myth. He may not have discovered the theorem that bears his name. He may not have invented the music of the spheres, but he embodied something powerful. The belief that behind the chaos of life, there is harmony. Those numbers are not just tools, but truths. And that idea, half science, half mysticism, is why his shadow still stretches across millennia. Number is the ruler of forms and ideas. If these words resonate in your soul, bring harmony to action. Subscribe to 5 Minutes of Culture. Only 1% choose to join the order. Will you?